Now, I want to bring it back to China because we have the benefit of your experience, and one of the things the Prime Minister Carney has talked about was putting in place guardrails as it relates to the recent agreement with China. Is that even possible?
Well, I think there's no doubt that China will always do what is in China's best interests. And at least while it's under the CCP, it will always be absolutely focused on the leading role of the party, east, west, north, south, the party overall.
Yes.
And what we've seen, I think, with contemporary Chinese governance is, if you like, a combination of traditional Chinese exceptionalism with Marxism-Leninism. and if anything, I think that's made China a more difficult neighbour and a more assertive, even belligerent global partner. Now, yes, in the Deng Xiaoping hide your strength and bide your time era, there was a certain cuddliness. And all credit to Deng Xiaoping and his immediate successors, because they did manage to produce this absolute explosion in wealth with wonderful results for about 500 million Chinese people who were lifted from the third world to the middle class in scarcely a generation. So let's give credit where it's due. But we in the West thought that economic liberalising would inevitably be accompanied by political liberalising. I still think that in the fullness of time that could happen, but the fullness of the time might be 100 years or more.
That's right.
And we've got to deal with China as it is now under the CCP. And I think we just have to accept that the current Beijing government expects every other country, as in the old days of the emperor, to tremble and obey. We had in late 2020 a series of demands, 14 demands issued by the Chinese embassy in Canberra to the Australian government. And they were essentially that we accept all Chinese investment, accept all Chinese immigrants, break the American alliance, and never criticise China. Essentially, we would become a tributary state.
A vassal state.
A vassal state. As far as China is concerned, Australia should be an economic colony of China. And regrettably, there are some Australians, particularly people who think that they might make money out of trading with China, who are rather tempted to go along with that. But no self-respecting country can accept that. And we have to remember that we become like those who we associate with. And for all the wonderful strengths of the Chinese people, for all the, I suppose, deep insights of Chinese culture and civilization, there's not the same level of commitment to the great freedoms, which, particularly in its English-speaking variant, Western civilization has fostered. And one of the reasons why Beijing is so desperate, obsessive about crushing Taiwan is because Taiwan is living, breathing proof that there is no totalitarian gene in the Chinese DNA.
Correct.
That's why it was so important that Hong Kong's freedoms be snuffed out. I mean, this was a huge economic own goal by the Chinese government, but they were far more interested in making the political point that there could be no variation from the CCP way than they were in maintaining all the advantages that having Hong Kong as a great international city gave them.
And instead, what has happened? You've seen capital flight from Hong Kong to Singapore. And instead, we have this alternative version of people of Chinese heritage in Taiwan, thriving under a democracy, where the per capita, they are richer now than even Japan.
Exactly right. I mean, within 4 or 5 decades, Taiwan has gone from an impoverished dictatorship to an incredibly successful, vibrant, liberal, pluralist democracy.
Yes.
It's a wonderful example of what can happen when you combine, I suppose, the drive inherent in so many Chinese people with market economics and the rule of law.
And instead of liberalizing and importing that, we've seen instead the Chinese Communist Party exporting authoritarianism to a number of emerging markets. And in democracies like ours, they are interfering. And that's a challenge that we continue to face. Unfortunately, I lived that myself, Tony. My wife, one summer when I was still a member of Parliament, we woke up to posters targeting our family, saying, Kevin supports genocide and other allegations, all along the route that she had walked the night before in the summer.
This was here in Canada?
This was here in Canada, in Toronto. I don't think it was a coincidence that...
So this was effectively agents of the Chinese government doing this in Canada?
Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, our security intelligence don't particularly get back to you about who it is. But we also know the authoritarians all work together. This axis of authoritarians, whether it's the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran, with the CCP and others. I don't think it was a coincidence that when I first started speaking out about Chinese foreign interference, that's when I got my first bomb threat. And well, you know, we ended up getting 5, but you know, at that point, once you've gotten 1, what does it matter? You get used to it. But the challenge has been, I think, in Canada in particular, when we're not in the backyard like Australia is getting Canadians to care, and of course, our leaders to take it as seriously as I think we absolutely need to. We still don't have a foreign agent registry, which I know Australia does have. How do you see us navigating that?
Well, I think we've got to be clear-eyed about the whole situation. And when foreign governments with dictatorial governance say that they intend to do harm or intend to dominate others, we've got to take them seriously. Yeah. And this is our difficulty. I touched on it earlier. Our mindset finds it hard to grasp the very different mindset, hard to take seriously the very different mindset that operates in some other countries, and particularly which operates in the leadership of countries which don't have any meaningful rule of law and don't have any meaningful democratic accountability. If they say they are coming for us, we have to assume they mean it.
So we should believe them.
Yeah.
Because I find that we have a tendency to see the world, this is definitely the case in Canada, as we want it to be, as opposed to how it really is.
It is a human tendency. None of us want to hear bad news. None of us want to put things aside for a rainy day. We all want, I suppose, the good times to go on. And look, there is no doubt that for people of my generation in particular, who grew up, I was born in the 1950s, grew up in the 60s, 70s, this has been a wonderful time, best times in human history. And yet the best times will only last if strong people are prepared to make that the case. And I do fear that we've had it so good for so long, we have forgotten that sometimes you do need to do tough things. You do need sometimes to struggle. There is no automaticity in the things we take for granted. Each generation has got to be prepared to learn anew the importance of these things and, if necessary, to be prepared to fight for them.